Hello, this is Penny Sansaberry with Author Marketing Experts, and we're talking about what to do if your book isn't selling and how to know whether or not to give up or to keep pushing. And this is really a very, very valid question because I get this a lot in consultations that I do. And authors will ask me all the time, I have this book and it hasn't really done well. And so I kind of take them through these steps that I'm going to talk you through today. So the first question is, are you doing enough? And I think that, looking at what you are doing as a whole is really important. How many different, are you always seeking reviews? Are you pitching yourself to bloggers? Are you on social media? Are you doing blogging? And are you looking to see what other people are doing? Are you connecting with other authors, other similar authors who can, maybe share some new ideas of things that they're doing and what's working? Do you belong to any groups? There are a couple of really good, for example, Yahoo groups for romance writers, and they're always sharing tips and things like that. So I think all of that is really important, but you need to kind of figure out, you always have to be doing something to market your book. So sitting there and waiting for your book to kind of start to sell on Amazon is not a solid marketing strategy. Do you have enough reviews? I think that authors fail to realize that consistently getting reviews for a book helps to revive even an older book. So, and you know this when you look at Amazon. So if you look at a book on Amazon that's, say, maybe a year or even 2 years old, if it's still getting current reviews, there's a perception that the book is still current, maybe, or that readers certainly think it's current enough to buy it, and that there is still some activity going on with this book. So as long as your book is relevant, I mean, if your book is sort of aged out of its topic, then maybe you need to look at updating it. But if your book is relevant, and for most of you who write fiction, certainly you can keep marketing those books for a long, long time. And in some cases also nonfiction too. So, and how many do you need? I think, we used to say that 50 reviews on Amazon was fantastic, and now it's kind of a good start. So I would really just keep pushing the book and keep trying to get reviews. The other thing that I mentioned previously is age really matters, and how relevant is your book, and could an update help it? So, and this is actually an interesting concept also for fiction, even though fiction typically fiction ages better than nonfiction. But I ran into an author at a conference about a year ago, and he has a sci-fi fantasy book that he wrote, and it was 400 pages, and he wrote it 5 years ago. And he said that, there were, he said that he didn't really know enough about marketing at that time, and he knows so much more now, and he really wants to market it, and he wants to kind of start over again. So what I had suggested to him is to keep the older book on Amazon, but to take the book and then chop it up into 4 pieces that were could be turned into 4 separate ebooks and then bundle them. So there are different ways to kind of revive a book too. Take a look at your book pricing and your ebook pricing in particular, because a lot of us do price our ebooks out of where consumers tend to buy. And I had somebody from KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, tell me that the sweet spot for ebook pricing is $2.99, $5.99. Doesn't mean that your book has to be, bottom line $5.99. You can certainly put it at $7.99, but $9.99 for an ebook starts to get just a little pricey. Overpricing your book is one of the number one things that I see that the mistakes that authors make, and the reason that their books are not selling. So take a look at your pricing. I can't really suggest print book pricing for you because there are a lot of different factors that kind of mitigate that. So things like whether or not you have color interiors, and whether or not, how long the book is and things. But I would take a look at other similar books in your market and see what they're pricing at. So I've had authors who will overprice their book. They'll say, well, I'm going to sell this book at $25 because I want to try to make back my money from the book, from putting the book together. And that's really a bad strategy because you just simply won't sell any books. So your back cover, really important. Make sure that your back cover is really solid. Things like, what's in it for me, Why is this book important? Putting endorsements up there. You know, lead with your story, right? So put the lead in the first part of the back cover copy in terms of enticing readers into your book. So take a look at your back cover copy. Make sure that it's strong enough. And if you don't really have the funds to change the back cover copy on the actual book, you can just, and it serves the same, it serves the same purpose. Just some tips for your author bio that you can go through later and take a look at how strong is your author bio. And the reason I mention this is because I think that especially if you have written nonfiction, you really your expertise really has to shine, and your author bio should be good, because if I'm buying a book, let's say on building a business, and I want to know that you have the experience, that I'm going to actually learn something from your book. So that's where, the other thing is you can keep updating your bio too. So as you get awards, your bio should change. And I'm talking really about your bio on Amazon. So, update your bio as you get awards, as you write new books, as maybe you're going on tour, things like that. So you can always access your bio on Amazon via the Amazon Author Central. Okay. The next piece of this is your Amazon page. So I see so many Amazon pages that have no separators. So they don't have any paragraphs, literally just a blob of text on their Amazon page, and it becomes really difficult to read. So you can start off with blurbs that people have given you, make sure that you have a headline, share any kind of ebook promotions. The great idea, and I don't have a screenshot of it, but a really, really great idea that an author had was that he or she, I don't remember the name of the book, but there was another book that they had written that was on ebook promo on Amazon, and they had actually put ebook, their ebook promo, my 2 in the series is free for 3 days between this date and this date, and they had actually changed their Amazon description to reflect that. So it's a great way to get, just to let people know what other, if you're doing another ebook promotion or something. And I think, anybody landing on the newer book page is going to also grab the other book and maybe be enticed to buy, to buy the new book. So it is a really great thing to do. And this is an example of a fiction Amazon book description. So you can kind of see that it's not just one run-on text in the, it's not just one run-on text in the Amazon description. And the same is true for my own book on, my 5-minute book marketing book. You can see there's bullets, and I have bolded text and things like that. So just make sure that your book description is also appealing. And these are some really small fixes that you can do almost immediately, and get, see if it makes some changes to how many people are, landing on your page versus how many people are landing on your page and actually buying your page, buying your book rather. So another piece of this is the super fans. So one of the things that I find that gets to be really tricky for authors is they're always, for every book that they put out, they're always chasing new reviews, as opposed to building fans who are, super fans who are going to follow them from book to book to book. And one really great way that you can do that is make sure that you have something in your book, a letter in the back of your book. And I think I talked about this last year in these classes. And certainly if you've taken a class from me, you've seen me or heard me talk about this, that your book has to, if you want reviews from your readers, you have to ask for them. So put a letter in the back of your book, and you could send them to, a special offer or sample content, or you could just literally have a letter in the back of the book and, ask them for a review. And if you do that, make sure that you put a link back to the book so that they can pop right over from the ebook to the page on Amazon. And this does tend to work best with ebooks, just because there's, you have that clickable link and they can go right over and review the book. And I think that the other piece of this is that using free, if you have this letter inviting readers to review your book, free starts to make a lot more sense, because people aren't just getting the book and then reading it and not incentivized to do anything. And we tried this out with a book that we worked with, and we got we gave it away for 2 days for free, gave away 61,000 copies. The author got 200 letters from readers, and the book reviews went from 20 to over 200. So putting a really well-worded, one-page, really simple letter in the back of the book can help out tremendously. The other reason why it's important to build your super fan base is because 95% of book sales come from personal recommendations. So that's another thing. Like if your fan base is not, if you don't have an extensive fan base, and by extensive, I mean, look, you could have 200 or 300 people on your list. I mean, I've talked to some authors who have 100 people who are so, they're avid fans. They will review and promote and do anything that she does. So it doesn't always take a lot of people. But if they're updating their social media, if they're helping you to sell your book, it can really help, can really influence sort of the trajectory of the book. And I think that one of the things that authors often forget are the micro-influencers. So a lot of us really, we want to go after really big numbers. So, whoa, she has 1 million followers and isn't that great? But what we're really looking at now in the marketing world is the power of small. So we're looking at micro-influencers who have smaller bases, but really, really powerful followers. So there was a study done, found that Instagram users with 1,000 followers, with fewer than 1,000 followers, generated likes 8% of the time. And you can see as you go higher, as you go to the 1 million mark, that number drops to 1.7. So don't overlook small, these fans, because they tend to have more authentic feeds. Obviously, they're easier to get to, and they are consistently excited about your stuff. And this just doesn't have to be just your fans. I mean, this can be people who are, bloggers and things who are just sort of connected to your world, right? So the other piece of this is that I think that it's really important that you have more than one book. So this is the Publicist, and we've done a lot of tests on this too. And I think that if you have, if you've been in any of my sessions, you've heard me talk about this particular book. And what we did is we actually took the first book and we split it up into book 1 and 2, created an audio for it, created a bundle, and then we did the second book in part 1 and 2, and so we released parts 1 and 2, and then we did a spin-off book, and then we collected all 4 of those and put them in a bundle, and then we did the next book. We're still working on the next book from the main character's perspective. So just a change of perspective, sort of, right, on that book. Because it's really about owning the shelf. So authors who tell me, I have one book and I'm just going to sort of see what this one book, does, isn't really an effective marketing strategy, because now, it really takes having multiple books. And as you can see from the prior slides, we actually had one book to work with to start with, and we just chopped that up into 2. And that's how we kind of started adding to the shelf. And so we did the same thing with the second book. And you probably already have enough content that you can actually do this. Now, the other thing too is, and I saw this, Dave Baldacci did this recently, and this book has since been pulled off of Amazon. I think the publisher pulled it. But when his No Man's Land book came out, he actually released a free preview, which was brilliant. So he did the free preview of the book, and I think it was the first 7, it's his first 7 chapters in the title. So his first 7 chapters of No Man's Land, and it was a preview book, and basically it led you to the paid book. And this is an absolutely brilliant idea. So a lot of times I talk about doing perma-free, which the last few slides are about, talk about doing a permanently free book. But this is another way around that. So if you only have one book out there and you really are eager to give it a boost, consider doing a free preview, because free does help to promote everything else that you're doing too. So, and this is a shortcut way around doing the perma-free stuff. But perma-free is also good. I would suggest not doing perma-free unless you have more than 2 books. So at the 3rd book, that's generally when permafree typically tends to work better. So, and ideally one book in a series, although I've done permafree with my books that, with a book that wasn't in one of my series per se, although technically I write all about marketing, so maybe that could also be considered a series, right? Permafree does help to boost other books in a series. Consumers love free and it helps to pull in new readers. So consider that, whether it's the sample that I showed you from Dave Baldacci or a permafree book. So either of those could be great. And if you go onto our website, and I'll upload a blog post related to the last portion of this presentation. I'll upload the blog post and you can kind of take a look and see, because I've got articles on permafree, expanded articles on all of this stuff that you can, that you can preview. The final piece of this is your Amazon Author Central. And I know from experience that many of you are all over the world, which is amazing. And I hope that this is teaching you some stuff that you maybe didn't already know. But your Author Central page is really, really important, as are your Author Central pages internationally, right? And currently, I think there are only 4 countries that Amazon has. This is the Germany page for this author, but Amazon has only 4 countries currently that you can update. And even if you're not in those countries, I really recommend that you update it, because I've actually seen a boost in sales internationally when an author updates their pages. Now, if you are in that country, obviously, if you speak French, this is going to be easy for you. But if you don't, there are easy ways to translate this page. And I will include a link to this, these particular tools on how to do this, how to update these pages. You can see sort of the links here, but it is a really, really, really good thing to do to update these. Sorry about that. I don't know why that keeps popping up on this page, but it really is a good thing to do to get these pages updated and to pull in more sales internationally, because it is a, it's an extremely good opportunity that a lot of authors are overlooking right now. So I am going to put together the links that I mentioned in this PowerPoint, and I will get you I'll get you those links and put those into the session. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I realize I covered a lot of content, but I really wanted to try to touch on everything that I see that maybe is, that you maybe have overlooked, that is really, really easy to update and to take care of, and hopefully to get you more sales. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is Penny with Author Marketing Experts, and I appreciate so much your time. Bye-bye.